Greetings. Hey everybody, how's my sound? Let me make sure I'm on the right channel with this Wi-Fi. Give me 1 second. Happy new moon, happy new moon, happy new moon. Thank you for joining me. I kind of last minute threw this together because I woke up feeling inspired to share. And so I said, I got back to backs all day. Where am I going to have the time? And then it just so happened that I had an appointment rescheduled. So it gave us time to gather. You see how the Most High work? You see how the Most High work? So I'm literally in between all type of stuff right now. But the space opened up for us to have some time to just gather on this new moon. So I'm grateful to have this space to gather with you all. Thank you for tuning in. Share. Let's take a minute to first of all like the video, share it. Peace. Share it. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, you should be, because I am in a season of inspiration right now, creativity, and it's just flowing. And so I'm working on a lot of things. I've already launched a few things, one being the 30-day meditation challenge. How many of you all been tuning in to that? The 30-day meditation practice. I pray you have been taking advantage of that. That was inspired by many of you who have asked me. Many of you already tune in to the Sunday meditations. You tune in to pretty much everything I have to offer. But you've been asking for a specifically created, a series created specifically for those who are wanting to deepen their practice or just learn how to practice or practice the practice. And so that is what inspired that 30-day practice. Okay, Cherie says, it has been amazing, wonderful, excellent. Glad you're tuning in. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn your notification bell on. I'm also going to be producing some audiobooks. I think it is very helpful or important or maybe wanted. I would even venture to say it's very desired to have down to earth melanated voices on some of the audiobooks that we love so dearly. And so some of my favorite metaphysical books, I am going to be reading those and creating audiobook playlists. I have one that's almost done, Prayer of the Heart. That's one of my favorite books about prayer that talks about how prayer shows up very similarly, or the mystic prayer shows up very similarly with Christians and Sufi Muslims, Orthodox Christian and Sufi Muslims. So it goes into that. It's a really good text. We're studying that in our Wednesday group, our metaphysical studies group. We're studying that right now. And so because we're studying it, I've been able to record the reading of the book. And so the audio book playlist will be available soon for that one. I'm also putting together a few playlists of affirmations. So if you want to tune in to affirmations every day, there'll be a playlist for that. I already started that one. I started with Louise Hay book, Heart. I think it's Heart Thoughts. And I have so many other ones. I'm working on White Fire by Muji right now, doing some reading from his book. I'm working on Florence Scovel-Shinn's text. I'm just going to do a whole playlist of all of her books: Game of Life, Secret Door to Success, Your Word is Your Wand. I have Neville Goddard's text. I'm going to be doing his collection. I also have a few Truth Unity. So I have Effectual Prayer. I'll be doing that. I'll be doing Let There Be Light. That's another powerful text. So I'm just letting you know, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out. Okay, because all of that is coming from being inspired by you all, by us, by our work together. Yes, Queen, off to a beautiful start, a new Gregorian calendar year. Yes, giving thanks. You have the voice for it. I can't wait to hear it. Yes, ma'am. Audiobooks. Some of my members said I need to read for Calm because they've been getting the audiobooks or the readings because it's going with their book study and study sessions. So they've been hearing it, some of it that you all will be hearing soon. I've been listening to Neville Goddard and it's helped me immensely. Wonderful, wonderful. 2024 is off to an amazing beginning. I agree. I agree. Well, listen, it's 111, January the 11th. We just came off of 111, the hour, the hour and the minute, 111 today. I wanted us to come together and all be on the same frequency at one time. And to just talk a little bit about the atmosphere right now, the energetic field we're in, the divine assignments that we should all be considering, keeping in the forefront of our minds, how to stay grounded and also stay forward moving and in an elevating space during this very auspicious and unique time that we're in right now. And so I wanted to do somewhat of an address, and let this be our 2024 address, and take the messages that's channeled in this session with you for the rest of the year. Take it with you for the rest of the year. Okay. We have a full year astrologically. There's a lot happening. Um, and it's not even a lot like so many retrogrades and so many aspects happening. It's not even that. As a matter of fact, we're going through a period of time during this year where there are no retrogrades. We have just clear forward fluid moving energy. However, there's a lot of uprooting happening. There's a lot of dismantling happening. There's a lot of things that's being revealed. There are a lot of newness. There's a lot of newness right now. And so I just wanted to share some of the things that's been on my heart and mind, that I feel we should be focusing our attention on and intention on in order to continue to climb Jacob's ladder. Okay, in order to continue to climb Jacob's ladder. That's a Christian reference. Jacob's ladder. We are all climbing. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We always are. So let me extend a word of prayer and then we'll get started. We give thanks for this moment in time of us coming together right now. All of the like minds on right now live and who are watching as a replay. We give thanks for this new moon, all of the seasons and cycles. We give thanks for this 11th day of January, the first month, and the 11th day of this month. We give thanks for this day being Thursday, planet of Jupiter, a day of expansion, expanding our minds, expanding our consciousness, expanding our territory, expanding our imagination, expanding our dreams. So we always give thanks for all of the leeway, all of the room the Almighty gives us to stretch and to grow and to remember our divinity. We give thanks for the privilege of being divine beings. May we continue to remember what we are as children of God, as divine beings. May we continue to walk with a light heart and an open mind and a spirit of surrender. We give thanks in advance for the message that will be channeled in this session. Amen. Ashe. I mean, whichever one resonates with you. All right. So I just want to jump right into it. One of the first things I want to talk about is living from your spiritual core. Living from your spiritual core. Your spiritual core is a very receptive space. It's a very surrendered space. It is an energy of connection. It's an energy of, it's a very potent energy. It's a very radiant and dynamic energy. Living from your spiritual core is handling situations, handling your life, approaching your life, approaching your days from a space of surety, being sure of your connectivity to everything around you, to the one mind, to the one power, your connection to this thing we call God, which shows up as the mighty one, the most peaceful, the grace, the mercy. This energy, when you tap into that energy and you live from that space, you no longer depend on reason or the left brain or other people's validation or data or what happened in the case last year. You no longer depend on those things. What you depend on is divine guidance, the trust. You're very, like I said, in a surrendered space where there's this deep level of trust that as you are guided to move about your journey, you are being guided in the right direction. You are being shown the right path. You are being connected with the right people. You are being guided with the right thoughts and the right ideas. That anything you need as far as resources is available and will unfold and become available to you. You're really moving from that knowing space. That is living from your spiritual core. Another thing that comes with living from your spiritual core is when you have situations you face, you address them from your spiritual core. And so there are some immediate actions that become normal for you. It becomes normal for you to immediately pause, breathe, meditate, and or pray. It becomes normal for you to create some ritual around a circumstance or situation. It is normal for you to gather with your prayer warriors and brothers and sisters to handle the situations versus trying so hard to handle it with your own logic and your own reasoning. Okay, this becomes your way of living where you're living in the unseen. You're regularly tapping into the unseen. And so this is really it is being called for right now, because a lot of things we are experiencing right now and will continue to experience in the future. If you take it for face value and take it for what you're seeing and hearing, you could be distracted and begin to believe in um the fear and the concern that the ego or the collective is projecting. This year is filled with a lot of things happening politically. You have a lot of things that is kind of unraveling right in front of our faces. There's a lot of there are going to be a lot of things happening in the financial world. And so if you stay stuck in the physical plane and in what's going on around you and begin to navigate those spaces from your reasoning mind versus your spiritual core, you can get caught up. Because what you believe in becomes your reality. If you put your belief, your faith, your energy, your time, your thoughts, and all of those different things in those things, you become a part of that reality. So let us really think about what does it mean to live from a spiritual core. And I welcome questions. You can put them in the chat room. I'll answer them as I begin to wrap up the message. So the next thing is that goes along with that. When you're living from a spiritual core, It is essential for you to vibrate on a high frequency. Vibrate on a high frequency. So this means do what you can to keep yourself in a space of peace, happiness, contentment, joy, whatever that may look like. Take care of yourself. Take your routines and regimens seriously. Look at your daily routines. What time you wake up, what time you eat, what you're doing, the movement of your body, the amount of time you use in quiet time, your devotion time, your prayer and meditation time, what conversations you're having, what you're listening to, who you're around, how are you spending your energy. Really reflecting on all of those different things to make sure you are doing things to keep you on a high frequency. Whether you're working, whether your day includes working, or not. Make sure that you are keeping yourself on a high frequency. Look at your nighttime schedule. Are you getting enough rest? Another thing, and I just thought about it when I thought about that rest, is a lot of us are being awakened at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning now, constantly, consistently. Am I right? Anybody on the call experiencing that? You're consistently being awakened at 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, between the 3:30 and 5:30, 6 o'clock time. Embrace it. It is what it is. It's a sign of the time, right? So embrace that. Don't go to bed earlier because you are being awakened. And it's better for you to be present and open at that time versus groggy. I wish I can go back to sleep. Why am I keep waking up? Get up. That's a very powerful time for prayers. It's a very powerful time for reflections. And it is not uncommon right now because we are in this space energetically where certain portals of energy and frequencies are opening. Many code there are names for these portals across culture, and some of these portals are happening at certain specific times and days, and is connected to some things happening astrologically. However, that time, that 3:30, between that 3:30, 4 o'clock, and 6 time in the morning time, has always been a powerful time. It's known to be one. And so allow yourself to wake up. But this is a part of that routine, being able to shift your routine to make sure you're making it priority that you're vibrating on a high frequency. Because if you're going to be living from a spiritual core, it is essential for you to be vibrating on that high frequency. Now, that high frequency, that's going to take some consistent inner work, consistent introspection, and consistent inner work. And I want to change that word, like inner work, because I feel like sometimes we take that idea on too much. This inner work that I'm talking about is your commitment to your innermost being. The commitment takes work, correct? And so your commitment to your inner being is the work that I'm talking about. It takes consistent introspection. It takes consistent awareness, being aware, not just letting the day spin you around, being aware. And so you commit to that innermost being. And so that's going to make you more, it's like we're reading the book Prayer of the Heart, and they call the relationship between the human and the creator the lover and the beloved. The lover and the beloved. Having a relationship of the lover and the beloved. Cultivating that relationship every day, all day, throughout the day. How kept are you by our beloved, the Almighty? We're so kept. We're so kept. Can you imagine being, being so kept that any need, any desire that you have, soon as you turn to look for it or turn to call for it, it's like, here I am. Like, God, here I am. Soon as you begin to imagine calling out for those things that you may need or desire, the call is the answer. Your calling out is already the Almighty saying, here I am. How kept are you? And I'm emphasizing that because this commitment that I'm saying to your inner being is like this relationship, you as lover and your beloved being the creator. And you have a commitment with that, to appreciate it, to give thanks for it, to nurture it, that connection. And so with that, it doesn't take so much work. You don't have to plan to meditate. You don't have to plan to pray, plan to do this and make so many efforts and so many different things to try to do the things that we should naturally kind of flow and do. Let us try to find ourselves in a flow of our spiritual practice, not so much contrived and transactional and planned out. I'll, I'm not against it. A plan is helpful, especially if you have a busy life. If you're very active, you can say, okay, every day, my plan is at, lunch, at the beginning of lunchtime, I'm going to do this or do that. But instead of planning on meditating and praying, become meditative. Instead of planning devotion, or not instead, in addition to planning your meditation, your prayer time and devotion time, become meditative, become prayerful, become devotional. Become it. Walk in that. Walk as that. Walk as a meditative being, a prayerful being, a devotional being. And this is when you'll begin to feel and experience and see that relationship between you and the Almighty as this oneness that doesn't separate, it's not this separate thing that you have to keep pulling together or making it happen. It's this oneness. You're always walking with God. You're always talking to God. You're always experiencing the Almighty. You're always seeing the Almighty. And then you begin to get in this place where you don't have to look too far to see the workings of the Almighty. And so, this is the walk. This is the walk. And this is far from the reasoning mind, right? This is that divine mind where you don't have to use so much reasoning. Think the reasoning mind goes to rest. It goes to rest because you acknowledge that there's this universal flow of energy happening without your reasoning and understanding and knowledge and all of that. Without all that is good, but without all of that, divine intelligence is always at play. It's always at work. And that divine plan and purpose that's over your life is always unfolding. Whether you know it, whether you knew it, whether you do it, it don't matter. That divine plan and purpose is always at play. The cooperative components are coming together. Things are linking up. Doors are opening. Gates are lifting. Always. Right? And so that's one of the main messages I definitely want to, I feel compelled to talk about and share, because as we practice this, no matter what we face, it's easy for us. It's almost like you begin to live in your own dream, as the Four Agreement says, or your own bubble, and be okay with that. Be all right with that. And not everybody is going to understand it, and that's okay. And not everybody is going to agree with it, and that's okay. And it's not for you to go and try to get anybody to understand it or tell anyone. It's for you to just walk the walk and shine your light. That's your only job. Walk the walk and shine your light. That's it. Your light will do everything it's need to do or you're called to do to impact other people, individuals. Yeah. Okay. So another part of this living from a spiritual core is paying attention to the synchronizations, the cycles, the seasons. So I have produced the different kind of living book. It's the ebook. Many of you have already purchased that a copy of that. Begin to revisit that book. You know what I mean? Just tuning into the days, knowing that today is 111 and it's a Thursday, and Thursday is the day of Jupiter, and it's a new moon in Capricorn, and all of this. Like that, those pointers should kind of give you an idea of the type of rituals or the type of practices or journaling or meditations you could be tuning into on today. I thought that it's nobody better, or I won't say nobody better, but it's a wonderful person to start a new moon on a Thursday, a Jupiter day, the day of expansion and prosperity. And it's also 111 and all of these beautiful things. Okay, let me start my day and let me start my day with some Florence Scovel and let her affirmations play throughout my day. Or maybe for those who remember the abundance book that we did last year, I think that was, maybe today is a good day to revisit my abundance book affirmations. Maybe I should keep that mantra in my mind. This morning's meditation that we did for the 30-day meditation practice, it was we were left with the affirmation, what was it, my endless good comes to me in endless ways. Was that the affirmation? And in the group chat, I said, hold that as a mantra today. Not only is that wonderful to hold any day, but holding that mantra on a Thursday, the Jupiter day, day of expansion, day of prosperity, just so happened to be 111. And hey, say the mantra at 11:11, then say the mantra at 1:11, then say it again at 11:11 p.m. and maybe say it 111 times. These are ways that you can tune in and you can really create frequencies. You can tap into frequencies that's already there and create and amplify frequencies, being intentional. I often talk about how how powerful it is to live intentionally. And so these are things, you don't have to wait on someone on YouTube to tell you or wait on somebody on Instagram to post it. You stay tapped in. You stay living from your spiritual core. So you recognize, oh, isn't it a new moon? And then you looking at the day, oh, it's a Thursday. Nice. New moon on a Thursday. I love new moons on Thursdays. New moons on Jupiter day. That's amazing to me. So I'm already thinking, okay, I'm going to be doing certain prosperity prayers, prosperity. I'm going to be doing some things around expansion of my mind, expansion of my heart, expansion of the love frequency, expansion of my light, expansion is what I'll be thinking that whole day. So it's 111. Okay, I'm going to use the hours. I'm going to use 11:11. I'm going to use 111. I'm going to use both those throughout the day. Okay, what else can I use? I can use the Jupiter hour. Okay, I'm gonna say this a certain mantra during the Jupiter hour on this Jupiter day. These are the type of things you want to do, and it's a new moon, so you're planting seeds, you're setting your intentions. So these are ways that you can live from your spiritual core. I always say, your ritual should be a reflection of your gratitude, of your train of thoughts, of your vibration, your ashe. Your ritual should be a reflection of that, what you find yourself doing. And so revisit that different kind of living book that tells you some ways to be intentional. But for me, I can speak for my journey. I tap into the certain hours of the day. I tap into the horror watch. I have shared that app with you all. That's one of my favorite apps on my phone, is the Horror Watch app, HORA watch, one word. It's a free app that you can get, that you can keep up with the planetary hours, right? Then I have my time passages app, which I can keep up with the various aspects. And I'm going to talk about that. And then I think I'll be done with this talk. One more thing I want to talk about, and then I'll be done with this talk. But I have the Time Passages app where I can keep up with what's going on in the sky. You know what I mean? And then I just sometimes I'll plan out just my devotion time. You know, these are the times I'm going to have my devotions. And that has been inspired. Um, I've been inspired with by the Islamic community with their salat prayers. With that, you know, that those powerful times that they are prostrating and praying and remembering God throughout the day. You know, that's so you don't have to be Muslim to do that, you know, but that is a powerful practice. You know, it's not about how many times is that, but it's also the times that they're doing it. And those who may know what those times, you know, how powerful and potent those specific times are that they keep the Fajr and all of those, the different prayer times, the times is significant and the postures they're doing is significant. The way they're prostrating, the wudu before they get started is significant. That's a lot of significance and intention they're putting in throughout the day, every day, if they keep it as a practice, especially if you're keeping it as a practice and the prayer is coming from the heart and you're truly tuned in, you're truly appreciating each movement. And, you know, when you get that, when you're bending down and you know what that represents, and then you go down and you put your forehead on the ground and you know what that represents, and you say certain prayers, you say certain words, like all of that is powerful. And you don't have to be Muslim to do it. You can create your own prescribed prayers. There are many out there that you can tap into. You can tap into the prayers that's written in the Bible. It's a reason why there are prayers outlined in the Bible. You can tap into ayats from the Quran. You can tap into mantras from the Hindu culture or the Buddhist. I mean, whatever it is that floats your boat, tap in and create a practice and keep your practice living from your spiritual core. So you when you're doing all of this, you're it's hard for you to get distracted by the world because you're caught up in your own world. And your own world is vibing at a high frequency. It's feeling good. You're feeling great. You know, your skin glowing. You're feeling wonderful. Your edges growing back. Your money growing. Your friendships are reconciling. Everything is doing well. Not your edges growing back. When you're busy doing your own practice, that's what we want to do. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, and I have to roll out because I have a session I got to get on. The last thing I want to talk about is dealing with your long-term influences when it comes to the various aspects in your chart. Okay. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about your natal chart, your birth chart. If you have not gotten your natal chart unpacking or your birth chart unpacking session, I would suggest you do that so that you can truly understand how to utilize that natal chart to support you on your journey. But in your natal chart, or you have a birth chart. So you have your birth chart. This is basically where you were born, at the time you were born, what was all the planets doing when you were born, right? That's set. But the planets and all of that, they rotate, it moves. And so here's your chart, but then you have this rotation happening. So the planets can influence this set chart. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. That's called that's called short, long term, strong, weak. I'm strong, medium, and weak aspects or influences. You have a chart. You were born when the sun was in this sign and the moon was in this sign and the Venus was in that sign and the Saturn was that's set. Okay. You shouldn't be, if you go pull your natal chart from 10 different websites, you should have the same chart. Okay. If you put your name, the time, the place, They shouldn't be giving you anything different. The interpretations, the wording of the interpretations may be different, just depending on who is interpreting what these placements mean or could how they could impact you and those type of things. The interpretations may be different, but your chart is the same. So here's your chart. Okay, I got 28 people on here and I got 3 thumbs up. So I'm gonna try to explain it one more time. You're here, your chart is here, you are who you are in association with the planetary body, right? Just imagine you're a planetary body, like you are a body, planetary body, up in just in space, in the galaxy. As the planet, as the stars, moon, planets, all of the what they call planets in astrology move around, the angling of the energy of those planets can impact even your chart. And so the where Venus is right now, it could be squaring your Saturn that is set in a certain energy. But because of where Venus is right now, it could impact that energy. And when it impacts that energy, it will influence it in a certain kind of way that creates this flow of energy, or that manifests as certain circumstances, certain emotions, certain thoughts, certain happenings. Like it can influence those things. And so knowing your long-term influences, because sometimes these influences can be for a whole year, it can be for 2 years, 3 years, 3 months, 4 months. When you know those things, you can kind of align with what's naturally happening in your life. So for an example, I have an influence in my chart right now that is highlighting the fact that there may be some major changes in relationships happening from now, from last March until this March. And so, and it gave a lot of details and information. But what that tells me is that, first of all, if I notice that there's some different shifts and changes happening in the relationship, I'm going to surrender to it. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to be trying to do too much. I'm just going to flow with it, because it's a divine angling of energy that's happening right now. It's meant for my life. It's in divine order. That's literally literally the epitome of it's in divine order. And so, if you know these things, then you can line up with them. Now, you may say, well, Queen, how in the heck do I know these? Of course, y'all know I ain't gonna leave you hanging like that. Come on now, you dealing with Queen. Yeah. I'm gonna just say all that, and then you're gonna just go be trying to search from any. No, I'm not about to send y'all out there trying to search to be done ran into somebody. Anyway. The way that I am suggesting that you get these long-term influences, one way that you can get it, I'm silly, is the Time Passages app. Y'all know me. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't pay me, but I've been using it for years and I really like the app. Or astrograph.com. So I have good news and a little, like, not bad news, but different news. The good news is you can find these long-term influences if you download the app. No matter what phone you have, you can get these long-term influences. You go to your chart, or your name at the bottom. You will see my chart, and then I think daily horoscope. You click the daily horoscope, and in there it should show you your long-term influences. Remember, I'm highlighting the long-term influences, the ones that's impacting you for months at a time, sometimes years at a time, okay? That you can tune into and pay attention to. So that's good news. The different news, I won't call it bad, is that if you are an Android carrier, you have to pay for it, which is not much. It's $35 a year. I want to say like, I don't know, $3, $2.99 or something like that a month. But you have to pay and upgrade your app in order to get the long-term influences. Um, and then on astrograph.com, which is free to upload, I meant to get an account with as well, you can get your long-term influence, but you have to upgrade. So the only people who can get this free version of these long-term influences is iPhone users, our iPhone users. So if you have an iPhone, you should be able to pull up your long-term influences with your free app. If you're Android, you can pull it up, but you have to pay. And then if you're only using desktop, you do have to pay for it. Desktop is a nice version because it's laid out. It's, you can really look at it. But the app it's the same. The app and the desktop is the same. So if you feel compelled, from my spiel to get it, I think it'll be a great benefit. I just want to read one of them to you so you can kind of get a idea of what I mean. So when I go to my daily horoscope, it says today's astrological influences and then long term, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 long term influences right now, 8 of them. And for me, Chiron is one of them planets that I pay attention to because Chiron is your point of healing. And so when I see Chiron in my long-term influences, first of all, it sparks me to believe I'm about to be doing some healing. Yay. That's yay for me. I know it might be scary for others. And hey, it may get scary on my journey. I be so with it, even when I'm scared, I'm like, let's go. So we can get this thing healed. I'm one of them, like, pour the alcohol on it. Go ahead. Like, all right, is it gonna hurt? Okay. Yikes. That's me. Cause I want to heal. You know what I mean? So Chiron shows up in 2 of the aspects in my list of long-term influences. The first one is impacting me from July 21st of last year to March 22nd of this year. And then I get a little break and it's coming back in October the 27th of this year. And it lets up January the 16th of next year of 2025. Right? And so it reads, this can be a time of great change and positive results for you. What is affected that part of yourself that is a dissolver of old structures. Hallelujah. Look at God working it out on my behalf. Won't he do it? Okay, don't get me started. This is that part of you, the dissolver of old structures, for the purpose of making way for some hitherto unseen aspects of yourself to emerge, and you are likely to undergo a transformation of your spiritual values at this time. Look at God. You see what I'm saying? See why I'm saying the long-term influences can give you some insight. Now, it's some things that I knew coming. I had been feeling for some time when it came to my spiritual walk and the various things I'm doing and what I've been inspired to do and where my focus has been and all of that. Just without reading this, it was already, but as soon as I read it, I said, that makes sense. And so this information should be affirmative and like confirmation, not something super new, right? So it's confirming what I already have been experiencing. And then it's also giving some insight. And so it's helping me to lean in it even more in case I was, wavering a little bit. It says you may experience a degree of tension between an old and outmoded way of being and a new vision of what could be possible. The shadow side is disappointed with yourself for not being further along the path than you envision. And there could be confusion about what you truly want at this time. But the joy of this spiritual journey of discovery comes from making peace with yourself and beginning to fulfill your dreams. All right. So then I have the other one in Chiron. This one, peep this. This one, it came in October the 13th of last year. And then it's letting up March 6th of this year, right? And it reads, your psyche is subject to a stressful and potentially vitalizing period of time. The very structure of your life may be changing as you undergo realizations leading to a great metamorphosis in your self-concept. At this time, also difficulties with authority figures may emerge, or your relationship with your father may be challenging, or the way you live your life in relation to the structure of society itself may be coming to a point where changes that have been in the works for some time are ready to burst forth into your conscious awareness. I'm going to stop there. So you hear what it kind of speaks of, um, and you see how that could be insightful. So what that tells me is, okay, I need to be ready for change. I need to be ready for change, which I'm kind of pretty much always open for it, because I'm like, let go, it's especially if it's right there, and I would have to fight it for it not to happen. I don't fight nothing. I got a permanent white flag up. Lord knows I do. I'm in straight surrender mode. Like, it is what it is. um, but you see how knowing the influences can really help you out. So that is that. Happy new moon. I didn't want to hold y'all past 2 o'clock. It's 1:57. I pray that you have a fruitful new moon. A review of this message today is live from your spiritual core. In order for you to do that, make sure you're vibing on a high frequency. And as you are vibing on a high frequency, create your rituals and routines and ceremonies and all these different type of things that is divinely being inspired on your behalf, and elevate those some. Okay, there's a such thing as personal initiations, personal ceremony, personal. You don't have to have someone to do that for you. You don't have to have someone to take you through some large, spiritual ceremony and ritual for your healing or for your elevation or for your transformation. That is not absolutely necessary. Sometimes it's called for, but it's, when God is taking you through something, when God is growing you, when God is trying to get you to do something. So if you are compelled to do something for a 30-day period, 90-day period, 120-day period, year, if you're compelled to do something that you feel like will take you to the next level spiritually, or will help you release trauma, release old structure, whatever, tune into the self, and the self will tell you what you need to do. And you do it on your own. You don't have to have these things contrived for you. You can go through self initiation, self transformation. All of this can happen through the self. Okay. So establish your rituals. You decide what ritual you're going to do, what ceremony you want to do, and you do that. You follow through with it. And don't nobody have to be involved with it. Or it can be somebody involved with it, but you can decide that. And then lastly, and let those rituals include, time, the days, the hours, those type of things. And then lastly, if you can tap into those long-term influences that's happening in your life, those really are like little jewels, little clues into what's happening, what divine assignments, what divine openings, journeys are naturally unfolding for you in your life. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, resonant. Happy new moon. We do have a new moon meditation Saturday evening at 7:30. I do have a new moon sound bath tomorrow. If you're in Atlanta, I have a few more slots for that. You can come out to the sound bath. That's going to be amazing. And then the meditation is Saturday evening at 7:30. All right. I really appreciate love y'all tuning in. Happy new moon. Live intentionally, live from your spiritual core. Don't get caught up out here in these third dimensional streets. It's rough out here in these third dimensional streets. Okay. Stay on the high frequency. Stay on the eagle's perch. Stay in the heart. Okay. Stay in the heart. Get out the mind. Stay in the heart. All right. Peace and love, y'all.